Hello, in this video we are looking at Dhammapada chapter 10 verse 6, verse 134 in the consecutive numbering. Sache nere si attanang kang so upahato yatha e sapatto sinibbanang sarambho te navijjati. And now with the text up, we are, oops, sorry. Let's find the right one, 10:6. Here we are. Sache nere si attanang kang so upahato yatha e sapatto sinibbanang sarambhote navijjati. So sache is if. Neresi by Sandhi is na eresi. Ereti, eremi, eresi, ereti, means to kind of to set something in motion, to get something going. I've done a note on it. It's down here. It's probably from the well-known root ri, it's just the subdotted r, meaning to go, and it seems to be an extended root. It's treated by the Sanskrit grammarians as a separate root, although, as I say, most likely to come from the more primitive root ri, one written with a subdotted r. And in Sanskrit, it's a class 2 verb, so it's not irati, but irte, class 2 atmanepada, irte. And we also have in Sanskrit the causative irayati, means to cause, to rise, or to get something going, to bring it to life. And in Pali, we have the form iriyati or ireti. And it's the ireti form or ereti form that we see here, sachena eresi. If you do not get yourself going. So attanam, eresi attanam, you cause yourself to go. It's a bit like the English expression, get yourself going, get yourself worked up, allow people to press your buttons. And the advice here is that one should, if you're in response to people annoying you or harming, you should not get yourself going. Na eresi atanam, you should be like a broken gong. So if you strike an intact gong, it will respond and carry on responding and send out its vibrations. Whereas the imagery here is of a broken gong. If people strike you or press your buttons, you will not respond in that way. So the kangsa, nominative kangso, is a gong. And upahata, it just means here in this context, it just means broken. It's from our root han. Oops. Sorry, my pen's not working. There we are. So, sorry, having trouble with my electronic pen. I'll pause for a moment. No, sorry about that. I've got the system working again. Can't quite remember where I was. I think I was telling you about the root ri, meaning to go, roughly in a broad range of meanings, and this extended root ir. And in Sanskrit, it's a class 2 verb, class 2 atmanepada. That means the endings. Class 2 means the endings are added directly, so it's not irati but irti, but in fact it's an atmanepada verb, so it's irte. And it makes a causative irayati in Sanskrit, and in Pali it has various forms. It's iriyati or ireti or ereti. All of these verbs meaning to get something going. And oh yes, I've remembered where I was now. I'd got as far as upahato. So it's from the root han, meaning to. Originally, the word meant, or the root meant to strike, and later on it meant to kill. It makes its past participle by dropping the nasal n. So instead of hanta, it is hatta, which is actually cognate with our English word hit. And if something is upahata, literally struck up, it means like beaten up or broken. It can mean afflicted as well. So if you were a kanso upahato, it's a broken gong, and yata means as or like. In prose, yatha would normally come first. In prose, you'd normally find yatha kangso upahato, like a broken gong. In poetry, you often find it coming after the thing that it's likened to. So sache nere si attanam, if you don't allow yourself to be wound up to get going, gangso upahato yatha, like a broken gong. Esa patu sinibbanang. So esa means this. It's a masculine singular. Esa bhagavato savaka sangho. This is the sangha of the Blessed One. Esa, this, is sometimes used instead of a singular pronoun. Sometimes used instead of I, you, singular you, thou, or he or she, esa for she, uh, meaning this person, the person we are talking about. In this case, um, it's you. Now, if you look in the way it's expressed grammatically here, let me call it up. Esa pato asi. Asi is the second. Sorry, it should be a two. Is the second singular active. It means you are, thou art. It's the singular. So notice that the esa looks as if it's a third person pronoun, this. But when it refers to you, it takes the you form of the verb, asi, you are. So esa pato asi, esa patosi means you have obtained, you've got. So you have obtained nibbana. So in other words, if you can be in this state where you do not respond to people angering you, or respond to people needling you, then that you will have obtained nibbana, is what is being said. Sarambhote navijjati. Sarambho, meaning anger, one of the ways of expressing anger, and I've dealt with that in detail in the previous verse, 10.5 or 133. So sarambhote navijjati, anger for you is not known / found. So there will be no anger for you. So navijjati is a common way of just expressing the notion that something doesn't exist. Like French, il n'y a pas. In the notes that I've done so far, I've told you, which is correct as far as it goes. It comes from the verb vid, meaning to know, to veda, avidya. It also actually, this verb means to find. So in ancient times, the verbs to know and to find were conflated, and they became slightly separated in Sanskrit into the different from the same root. Vid, you've got veti knows, vindati finds, but originally the same root. The idea being that if you can find something, you know where it is, and so you can find it. And both of those meanings of that root have actually come down into English in different forms. So from vid, we have wit, as in unwittingly, or keep your wits about you, that knowing. And our English word find is also from that same root. So um, navidyati, it's the passive form. It can be construed as meaning either it is not known, in other words, it just won't happen, or it is not found, again meaning it can't happen, it doesn't happen, or it doesn't exist. A passive note here, call up the iPad again. Um, we've got our root vid, right? Now, to make the passive, as we know in Sanskrit, you add just a ya to the root vidya and the Atmanepada form vidyate. That's the Sanskrit form. And this can mean either it is not known or it is not found. Again, with that same meaning, it doesn't exist. In Pali, as is entirely predictable, the dya by standard phonetic mutation becomes a double j, and the Atmanepada ending vidyate rather than vidyati tends to be ignored in Pali, and it's that gives us the Pali passive form vidyati. So sarambhote navidyati, which means that anger for you does not exist. This te, it's the what's known as the enclitic form. Tava, of you, would be the full form, but as an enclitic, in other words, a shortened form attached onto the end of a word, sarambhote, it just means to thee. It can be an accusative as well. So sarambhote navidyati. So I'll read it through again. Sache neresi attanang kangso upahato yatha esapatto sinibbanang sarambhote navidyati. I should mention this patto, it is highlighted here, means obtained. Hang on, sorry, patto, this one I'm highlighting here. This is a slightly unusual verb, and I'll explain why. It's the root. Oops. Sorry, pause again. Having a problem with my electronic pencil. So try again. It's playing up a bit. So the root ap, meaning to obtain. Normally it is construed or we found with the prefix pra. So pause again. Sorry about that. Normally found. Oh, here we go again. Sorry. So normally it's found with the prefix pra, without any real change in meaning. Pra-ap, which then becomes prap. And in Sanskrit, sorry, here we go again. past participle is prapta. So prapta, a regular past participle, which then in Pali becomes patta. Now it's a transitive verb, therefore patta primarily means something that has been obtained. But it's one of those past participles that can also relate not just to the thing that has been obtained, but to the person who has obtained it. So patusi doesn't mean you are obtained or you have been obtained. It means you have obtained, you have got. So just note that it's a slightly unusual verb in that respect. So esa patusi nibbanam, this meaning you have obtained, have got nibbana, sarambhute navijjati, there is no anger for you. So I'll read it through once more before we stop this video. Sache nere si attanang kangso upahatto yatha esapatto sinibbanang sarambhote navijjati. And that's it on this video.